The first Pennsylvania statewide investigation into abuses by Catholic priests is expected to be released any day now. The grand jury report details allegations against more than 300 predator priests in 6 dioceses, covering more than 1.7 million parishioners. Attorney General Josh Shapiro led the 18-month-long investigation. Nikki Battiste spoke with several victims who are speaking out together for the very first time. Nikki, good morning.
Good morning. Dozens of priests implicated in the highly anticipated report have gone to court to try to keep their names from being made public. Survivors and their families tell us they've suffered through decades of trauma. They believe the report's release will be an important milestone in their fight for justice.
It's a voice for the voiceless.
It felt like the first time somebody really listened.
This report is me getting my life back, saying, these are the evil bastards that stole my life.
Sean Doherty, Julianne Bortz, Jim Van Sickle, Mary McHale, James Faluzak, and Judy Devon are among the more than 100 people who spoke to the Pennsylvania grand jury. Their stories fill a nearly 900-page report.
How old were you when your abuse began?
I was 10.
13, 14.
16 through 18.
17, 18.
16.
My son was 15 when it started. His hell was right here on earth.
Judy Devon says the death of her son Joey 3 years ago can be traced to what happened to him as a teenager.
Because of the way he was, and I'm not going to say abused, I'm going to say the way he was raped. At age 17, his back was injured. There was nothing they could do surgically. And because of the pain medication, his death was caused by an accidental overdose.
The word abuse gets thrown around. We're talking rapes.
Julianne Bortz and Mary McHale both say they were molested by priests at their Catholic high schools.
My abuser, when he took his collar off, he told me that he could do whatever he wanted to do.
And you believed him, your child.
And I believed him, yeah.
The collar is still a trigger for me. They murdered something in me. Something died. Everything I believed died.
How many of you believe that right now a child is being abused at the hands of a priest? How does this happen?
It appears that there's something in the DNA of the church that encourages this.
James Faluzak says he witnessed the church's secrecy and sex abuse cover-ups firsthand, not only as a victim, but also during his 18 years in the priesthood.
You became a priest after being abused by one. Why?
I felt called to be a priest, and it was almost as if it was a completely separate issue. As I made my way through ministry, it became very clear to me that this was a systemic issue, almost like a contagion, that this was an epidemic.
Jim Van Sickle claims his high school English teacher, Father David Polson, groomed and sexually assaulted him from 1979 to 1982. He came forward this year after learning Polson is facing trial on criminal charges for abusing in the early 2000s 2 other boys.
Who are within the statute of limitations. I don't have the right to do that because he's protected by law as
How does that feel?
a predator.
You actually could see
Anger, frustration. You finally get to a point where you're willing to say, it's time for me to come and get you. And the law says, sorry, you're abused, but we're going to protect the predator here.
Father Polson's attorneys tell CBS News he is entitled to the presumption of innocence and is saddened by the allegations against him.
Do you think the statute of limitation should be completely eliminated?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
My statute of limitation ended for my abuse, but to me, they're re-abusing me right now.
I want the right to stand in court and face my abuser.
And say?
Just have him go through the court process, tell my story, make him listen to me. I would say to him, why did you do this to me? And I believe his answer is going to be, because I can, because I could.
The survivors and Judy all say they are no longer practicing Catholics. Many of the priests accused in the grand jury report have died or retired. The Pennsylvania bishops insist they do not oppose the release of the report. Several have already published the names of accused priests and apologized to victims.
How brave of them, Nikki, to speak up so candidly about something that's so personal and so painful to them.
They were incredibly powerful, and I think just being able to speak and maybe be believed finally was a little bit of justice for them.
Yeah. It was chilling, too, when you said how many of you still believe this is happening, that they all raised their hands.
They have no doubt at all. And I just want to add, there is a bill on the table in the Pennsylvania legislature that could give a window where there's no statute of limitations and they could file civil lawsuits.
Because they say they're being re-abused right now.
Right.
Nikki, thank you very much.